Oh, come on. Hello. Oh, Nebraska's snowy too. Actually, it's been snowing quite a bit in Seoul recently. It's actually the first time that I've been in Korea for what, almost 3.5 years now, and yeah, it snowed quite a bit. And hello, I'm just trying to put out one last comment saying I'm live. If I could, oh, there we go. And then let me do this so I can view the comments. Okay. So just gonna have to turn this sound off on this. Oh, hello, Greg. You're an entertainer. I thought you were teaching English. Where have I teach? Whoa, whoa, that's been so long. Wow, 14.5 inches. Okay. We didn't get that much snow in Korea, but we did get quite a bit, like a few days actually. The first time I came to Korea, they were like, it doesn't snow that much in Seoul. So I was like, oh, okay. But this year it snowed quite a bit. It snowed while I was on set like 3 times. I was on set when? Yes, Thursday. What's today? Saturday. two days ago, I was on set again, and it just started snowing hard for about 2 hours. But it doesn't happen often. Apparently, it just gets cold in Seoul, so I don't know. But it snowed quite a bit this time around. So yeah, but I don't really care for it too much because I don't have snowshoes. So when it snows, I'd be like sliding everywhere because you know it I'm guessing it like melts a little bit and then the top turns to like slippery, kind of like glass looking. So to me, it's kind of dangerous. I guess you have to have special shoes to be walking in there, but since I haven't. What? Yeah. So since I haven't been able to do that, yeah, or buy the shoes, because I was gonna buy the shoes, but then I'm not gonna end up buying the shoes. Um, but yeah, I want to talk today about like, I don't know, everything that I've been going through in Korea, because I know I haven't talked about anything like that since I came back, I think. So I thought I would talk about it today because some things are going to be changing soon anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. But wait, did I get anything else? You're so lucky we have rain, even though it's summer. Yeah. So let's see. The start. When I was in Japan, I was trying to figure out my next journey, and that was trying to finally get into the entertainment world, and I didn't know where I wanted to do that. So during that time, I applied actually to a few places in LA. But that's harder because in LA they actually want you to like walk in, and I can walk in obviously because I was in Japan at the time. So I was trying to figure that out, how I could find things online, so that I can be able to apply to places in LA. But yeah, that was quite difficult. So from there, I moved into well, I was already trying to do stuff in Japan, and then I thought, well, I already lived in Korea. I started studying Korean, so I'm going to try to move into doing stuff in Korea too again, maybe because that's a possibility too. And I'm already in Asia, so why not? Japan was pretty hard. Japan is so open for doing extra work and all the entertainment jobs that it's like oversaturated. So it's hard to actually get inside because there's just so many different people, so many different people that they already have in the industry or just using. Like for Japan, you don't need a specific visa to do a lot of different things. They only pretty much segregate it by things that are over 18, X-rated type stuff, and then anything that's underneath. So pretty much like when I was a teacher in Japan, I could do anything. It was okay, obviously, but I'm supposed to have the visa, so the job. But even that was a little different from Korea, because if you lost or if you just quit your job in Japan, you still kept your visa. So like if I got a job for like one year as a teacher or something, or anybody did, as long as you got that visa for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, I think 5 years is probably the max that they would give a foreign expat in Japan, you're able to pretty much just work. Yeah, it's actually a lot easier in Japan compared to like Korea, which once you lose your visa, that's it. It's over. Yeah, it's over. It's over. You have to go back home. Pretty much. Yeah, you have to go back home. It's a whole different process. I guess I'll go into that in a little bit. But during that time, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and Japan was an option. But since it just has so many different things for so many different people, and then it was oversaturated, like I said, I thought it would be too difficult to get in. And I also learned from a lot of different people that the only way to proceed in Japan is to come from your actual home country to Japan, meaning you already have a company or agency back in like America for me, and then I was transferred, or I wanted to do like an international relationship with a Japanese business, and that would have been better or a lot easier than just trying to get into the entertainment industry in Japan. During that time, like I said, I also applied to places in Korea, and I got one. And then from there, I was like, okay, well then, since I finally got somebody in Korea, well, anybody that I can actually work for, because I also tried a place in Europe, and he said, yeah, he pretty much everything looked nice in my portfolio. The only thing is that how I saw it is the only thing that I didn't have is a big name underneath me, like Adidas or Samsung or something like that. And oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Ruthie. Oh, thank you so much. But yeah, he said I didn't have any big, pretty much I didn't have any big names under me. So I was like, oh, I missed it because I didn't have big names. But I was actually excited because he liked my portfolio and all that. It's just, he wanted a big name. I guess everybody wants a big name under you because it just seems like you're going somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, he said contact him later. I'm guessing if I ever get that. But like at that point, I would already be in a different agency, I would assume. So I don't know. But I can't even remember where that was in Europe. I was applying to so many places that I saw on Instagram that I don't even remember where that was. But anyway, somewhere. It's an email or something, I think. I'll have to look that up later. But from there, I got the place in Korea. So I was like, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe I'm just supposed to go back to Korea. And that's how I ended up coming back to Korea to be an entertainer. What they told me when I was coming here was that, let me see, usually people say online that you pay about 1,000 to about I want to say $2,500 for your visa, and I saw that online everywhere, and they told me that it would cost me $1,500 to pay for my visa if I was in Japan, and then it would be $1,000 if I just moved back to Korea and then joined the company while I was here. So for me, I'm like, well, if I'm going to go to Korea, then why would I pay an extra $500 while I'm in Japan? Like, it doesn't really add up. I'm like, oh, well, then I'll just go to Korea, and just start there. So my contract for my teaching job at the time was ending, and I was trying to actually be done with teaching. So I really wanted to just only do entertainment work. So I was like, well, I got this, so why not try it? Because then I can get at least something under my name, hopefully. They said that they were a company that had there. How did they explain it? They're a company that has worked with a lot of big names in the past or something. So I thought, well, maybe it'll be helpful. And they want to sign with me, so maybe that'll be helpful. But there's a lot of lies that happens too. So that's the biggest problem. But yeah, they said that the visa for them would only cost $1,500. Now, I like I said, I done research and it said like about $1,000 to $2,500. It never said paying for a visa was illegal, and that's what I found out recently. Which is crazy because everybody pays for a visa when you're an entertainer in Korea, pretty much, except for a few different places that don't really make you pay for one. So that was very very iffy to me, because I didn't know about that. I just saw what everybody's posted about being an entertainer in Korea before, just how they had to pay for it. So I just said, oh, okay, it's the norm, I want to assume. So why not? And then they said stuff like, any jobs that I found myself, I would receive all the money if I found the job myself, and if they found anything for me, then they will only take 50%. So I said, okay, cool, because I felt like I was gonna try to find work myself anyway too. So why not? And then if you're giving me stuff, then why not? I would assume anywhere you go, people are taking a cut, some kind of cut. It just depends on what kind of contract you can make with a lot of different people, or in different countries and so forth. So I was like, that sounds about right. Okay, and then from there, my contract ended and I came back to Korea. The only thing is when I came back to Korea in February, the first time in February, this this year I came in February. During that time, COVID was actually pretty rampant here, not so good. So nobody really wanted to come to Korea at the time, but I was here, and then I met up with the agency and all that, and it took some time. It took me like a month to meet them because then they were like not really responding to my messages. I'm like, okay, I'm already here. Like, you were responding to me so much while I was abroad. I'm here. Like, I need to hurry up and meet you and try to get everything started. It took me like a month to meet them because I don't know if it was just the guy at the time or what, but it just made it very difficult, because he wasn't really responding. And then I had another girl before that actually, but she quit or something. So that was actually kind of like heartbreaking to me because I'm just like, wait, what? She quit? Like, why? Because when, I don't know, but I feel like when people quit, like something must be wrong. So I was already starting to get bad vibes about it because I'm just like, why she quit all of a sudden? Because I was working with her, and then when I got here, they said, oh, she doesn't work here no more. I'm like, what? Why? Why? So yeah, that was already pretty alarming. But I met up with them, and then they seemed pretty nice when I met them. But the only thing is, when I met them, they started to change my whole contract. It was from $1,000 to, yeah, you actually pay $1,500 for the visa, and I'm like, that makes no sense, because then if that was the case, I could have just started the process while I was in Japan. That you told me that it'd be 1,000 here and 1,500 there, and then they're like, "Who told you that?" And I'm like, "Well, it was just like the company's what is it? The company's email. So like, it could be anybody in the company. I don't know, And they're like, "Oh, well, that's not true." I'm like, So like that was already kind of irking me already because I'm just like, I already moved everything here. I've been here for like a month, and then now you're already changing stuff. And that sucks for people, especially me, that moved instead of just like coming here to visit, because that was the original plan. I wish I just stayed with that. The original plan was for me to just come here. I was going to get the visa and all that with the company, and then I was going to go back just so I could see how it was, test the waters to see if they were a good company or before that. But me being this may be a sign, I just jumped on it, and that ended with problems more than anything. So then, yeah, sounds suspicious. So yeah, she changed the number when I met her. And then not only that, then she changed what I would be doing. She said, "Oh, you won't be a model. You would have to join our like dance team because that's the only way you get a visa." I'm like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, a lot of people are entertainers in Korea, but like, why would immigration only limit you to only being able to give dance? I mean, it's still an entertainment visa, but only under being a dancer. I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, I love dancing and all that, so yeah, that'd be cool. But I'm like, everything's changing from the conversations I was having when I was in Japan. So that was another thing, and I'm just like, oh god. And I'm like, well, I like dancing. I mean, like, I like dancing, so why not? It's always something I did want to do too. But like, I was already dead set in the stuff that I had messaged and we talked about that I was kind of getting bummed like at every corner, you know. And like, what would I do? Go back to Japan now? Like, I just moved everything here. That cost a lot of money just to move here. I'm like, oh, I done screwed up. I should have just probably visited first and then went back. But yeah. From there, I was just like, okay, well, I love dancing. And she said you could still do any kind of modeling stuff on the side, so why not? That can be okay. And then the main guy, which they call Tepyonim, which is like the not director. She was a director. He said name. Tepyonim would be like the manager, the CEO of the company. He walks in and then he tells her like, why didn't you put him under modeling? And then like I was like what? And then she was like, shh. And I'm like, come on. I'm like, what is this nonsense? So like I could have actually on set. Thank you, Kitty. I was like, so like I don't know. Then after that, I felt like she played me. I was like, oh come on. I'm like, man, like I'm like, whatever. So then I paid for the visa and all that, and then I did the process. We went to go see a lawyer because apparently you have to see a lawyer. I don't know if that's even something you really have to do or not either. After everything that's went down recently, I just don't know what's the legal and illegal part about being of what you can do and cannot do as an entertainer. And again, thank you, Kitty. As a entertainer in Korea, so during that time, like I said, COVID was pretty bad, so I was waiting for all that to happen. But then there's a process when you are trying to get your visa in Korea. It seems like no matter what you do, unless you switch to being a student, you have to leave the country and come back. Now, that was a problem because nobody wanted to come to Korea, and a lot of countries banned Koreans from going to their country. Meaning, I couldn't go back to Japan to get my visa. And then the only other place would be America because I am American, so we can't actually go back home. But I was like, wow, that's going to cost even more money to go back home than it was to just go back to Japan. But like I said, what sucked is that if they told me in the beginning that that it costs $1,500 in the beginning, then I would have already known that, well, I might as well just pay for that here. I could have got my visa while I was already in Japan and just came straight to Korea. But because of all that happened, now I had to find a way to leave Korea and come back. So that's why I was in America for some time. I was in America for about a month and a half. But at that time, I was like, well, I have been gone from home for 3 years, maybe longer. I don't know. I was gone for a long time, so I thought, well, I haven't been home in a long time, so let's just make the most of it. So I turned it into like a month and a half stay, and during that time, I couldn't really do anything because it was COVID. So like, I didn't do anything. I only filmed like one video, as you saw, the one when we went to Temecula, to wine country or whatever. That's the only one I did with friends while I was back home, which I plan to actually do more, but with everything going on, I couldn't really do that. So yeah, that's pretty much the only film I did, but besides that, I just spent time with family, members, and then I came back to Korea. I was excited because I thought, okay, well, everything like crazy happened, but maybe everything will progress from here. Um, so yeah, I came back to Korea. I got my apartment. We already know about the different things I went through with the apartment because of like the roaches and all that at the beginning. Oh, but like all those are gone. And then from there, I started trying to look for my own work. There are a lot of different ways to find work in Korea for entertainers. I want to say the biggest one is Facebook these days. There's a lot of different what groups that people have started up to like post different things. So agencies will post in there too, and then you could just apply for them that way. There's Craigslist. Craigslist is actually where I found this company, but they also had a thing on Instagram, like their stories for trying to find people too. So people usually use Instagram, Craigslist, and Facebook groups. Craigslist to me is the most iffy because people don't like to post their names. They just say like, "Oh, we're a reputable company, and this is what we want you to do," or whatever, whatever. Just apply, and then we could see if you fit like the criteria for their modeling thing or whatever. But even sometimes those are flagged, and I don't know if it's because people worked with them before or they got in contact with them and then they were shady or something. So Craigslist, I think, was the most shadiest of them all. You can find jobs that way, but at the same time, it's kind of scary, I want to say, because you don't really know if it's legit work or not, or if somebody's just trying to take your pictures or what. To me, the best way was one. I mean, I forgot about that, but also having other connections because I had one friend here, Renee, that she was the one that helped me with a lot of the contacts too. Besides all the groups that I was like, yeah, I'm interested on Facebook, because Facebook to me was probably the second. I guess it could be the first best, but the second best because I already had somebody that had contacts here. So that's what I was using the most. And from there, Renee actually gave me somebody that gave me all the drama work that I've been doing for some time. So I've been doing drama work for about 6, 7 months now. And the drama work actually goes pretty well. It's a little bit different. Like it goes well because I actually get work, but at the same time, it's very hard, as you know, because I don't know. Probably I think I've said it before, but for doing dramas, like especially during the cold. Oh my God, we had two really really cold days on set, and like you're standing outside, and you're freezing, and like I was numb. My feet were numb and all that, but like they only take into account those that are the main actors. So the main actors, they get to sit out a lot of times, and they have people that's bringing out like their portable heaters and stuff, and then all the extras and stuff like that. You're dying. You are dying. One day, it was 2 days that was the worst for me. I think one day when we were outside, and they wouldn't let us go inside majority of the time because I understand the point that you want to get people ready so that the actors can come out or whatever and then say their lines, and then we can hurry up and finish while they're trying to tell us what we should do, who should do what, and so forth, but at the same time it was super cold, and I'm like, wow, like I from what I experienced when I was doing stuff in America, it was a little bit different because maybe we didn't have a super cold day. Maybe I just don't know about that part in America, but I felt like a lot of times we did stop and we were like put to the side where we can like rest and stuff, but like in Korea it seemed like there was not too much of that, unless there was just lines where there was just parts where it was just like the main actors and we really wasn't needed, because then during those times we could just sit and just, I don't know, pretty much do nothing. But besides that, we're just waiting around for the actors to come back on set and then say their lines while we're doing what we're supposed to do when they do certain things. So like all that I understood, but at the same time I just felt like, wow, like it kind of sucks because if you're like super cold or something like that, no one's really paying attention to that. So I'm like, I don't know. My thing is like, what if something happened on set, like to somebody because of like the super cold temperatures or something? Like, what happens? Like, what do they do? Because it's pretty much they told us to do it kind of thing. So I don't know. A lot of that like came to mind, but I do know that it was pretty different from all the sets that I worked on in LA compared to here. So I was like, wow, that's pretty difficult because it just seemed like the only way that people would care about you pretty much really on as in like the people on set is if you were a main actor. If not, then it seemed like you're pretty much nothing. And it wasn't even just for the foreigners, it was even for the Korean extras too. So like it was either be a main actor or actress or just like you're just underneath pretty much. So it was very, to me, I even same thing, all of us together. I think majority of the time they probably called us just models for extras here because a majority of the people that are extras are models or for our different modeling companies. So we were it was like us and then the other Korean extras, which is just older people, younger people to older people that I guess they do it as a side job maybe. Maybe some of them want to be main actors and actresses. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it was quite bad a lot of times. Well, not, I won't say a lot of times, but a few times. Besides that, we already talked about this before, but like the hours can be long, super long. Sometimes like whole day long. I think the longest day I had. I won't say on set because on set was probably about 10 or 11 hours, but we also had to drive to the place, so that was a 4 hour drive there and then 4 hour drive back, so it was like a whole day. But like I think that's the longest day I've had, but I've had other days that was like similar to that, so it's the days can be crazy too. You're not paid for the driving time, you're only paid for being on set. So yeah, the 8 hours of driving, no, you don't get paid for that. But the actually being on set, which usually they have like a set fee. It's usually like 6 hours. They give you like this much. Like I said before in another video, like if they give you like 150 or something, $150 for the 6 hours, then overtime usually I want to say it's like 30 to $40 less, or whatever per hour. So how was that? So you got six. You have no a little bit different. So for 6 hours, if they gave you like $150, that'd be what, like 20, about 30, no, $25 an hour. Yeah, about $25 an hour, pretty much. And then you would get for overtime. Usually, I would say it was probably like $5 or $7 cheaper per hour, which was always like astounding to me because I'm just like, wait, how does it go lower for overtime? Wouldn't it go like higher? But they said that's just how Korea has always been with the overtime. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like the first thing, so like pretty much it's like, please end in 6 hours. Don't go over because then I get paid less for overtime. So I always found that the craziest part of it because it's totally different from at least the West, where if you do overtime, you get paid more. So that also made me wonder about being an office worker in Korea. I do know they still have some times where they're not paid, because some people told me that when I was teaching, that they still weren't even paid. Sometimes they even worked weekends and stuff. But I guess if they did receive overtime, I did wonder how much they received, or if it was lower than the original like set hour, or for the set hourly wage. But I was like, wow, that's just so crazy. But I think those were like the kind of, yeah, the worst things about it. Maybe the time sometimes, because sometimes you may have like a shoot today and then a shoot tomorrow, and if you're like on set like all day, then yeah, that overtime, yep, that overtime, yeah, that's still crazy to me too. And I've been doing it for about 6-7 months now. I've been doing a lot of overtime actually. So yeah, And then let me see. So I've been doing that, but that's pretty much the only, if you want to put like that, modeling work I've been doing. Actual model work, as I would say, but that's been very, very difficult. In some ways it is because of COVID, because there's not there was a lot of times where they weren't really doing jobs, or they weren't giving out jobs because of COVID, and people getting it. But then at times, which I realized later, or just like recently, because I've been trying to think about what I want to do next. It's also the color of your skin. And I even realized that about being on set too, and that's only because I realized that on on the team that I work with right now, she has three black guys, and she has one black girl that she, yes, that's it. And then everybody else is from France or Russia, pretty much. I am the only American. The only American. Yes, everybody else is like French, Russian, something like that. So English at times for some of them could probably be kind of spotty too, and like it's not let's see, it's not at a native level. It's not even close a lot of times. But that's pretty much who they use for being an entertainer in Korea. Um, yeah, so I got used to that already, because I would see different things where people post. Usually it's like looking for a Caucasian from like this to like this. They rarely look for other people that have darker skin. So even as like a model and all that stuff, that obviously that was something that would make you sad, because like, again, skin color. But what is it? I almost got one Samsung. I almost got one Samsung. Now the script was actually made for a black guy, and I want to say a white lady. Because they gave me, what is it? They gave me the script and they gave me pictures, and even though it wasn't like darkened, I guess you could tell by the features of the person, like, okay, they wanted this person to be black, and then they had a white lady, and I want to say that they were girlfriend and boyfriend from the kind of scenes that I was doing. I didn't even post this to my, I don't even know if I have it, but I was gonna post it to my what is it, on my what is it on my Patreon, actually. But I forgot to post it. Hopefully I still have it, so I'll post that later on Patreon at least. But they what it was, they had me do different segments, like 3 different segments, and I don't know exactly what part of it was going to be for Samsung. They just asked me to do 3 different things, and I worked my way up to being 1 out of 2 people. Now I'm super happy, because that was actually when I first got to about one month after coming back to Korea. So I was super excited about it. I'm like, okay, if I can get this underneath my belt, like, this changed a lot of things, because Samsung, is a big company. Everybody knows Samsung. So I was super excited about that. Got down to 2 people, and then the lady told me that they actually threw out the whole scene. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, but we'll try again next time. Now, the thing about that is, to me, people already know why the scene and stuff was thrown out, but they just don't want to tell you why, because obviously they don't want you to feel bad about what happened. Now, for me, like I said, it was made for one black man, and I think I want to say a white lady, depending on, yeah, on what I saw from the picture. And then, to me, if you were going to go with like a different thing, wouldn't you still use the same people that you already chose? So to me, at that moment, I realized that I think they probably changed the black guy. It's not even the scene was cut. They changed the whole project. But even that, like, if you already have like your 2 main actors, like, okay, I really like this guy and I really like this girl, even if they changed a scene or something, you wouldn't change, hello, you wouldn't change the cast, you would just have them do this new thing. But now you throw out the whole thing, then I was like very suspicious about that. But like I was just like, whatever, maybe something happened in the beginning. But then recently, after looking at a lot of different things and talking to a lot of different people on set about different things and about like, the color of your skin and all that stuff, then I realized like, wow, maybe they just changed it from being a black guy to maybe like a white guy or something like that. And I just don't know, because the lady's not going to tell me that. I mean, let me see. Think about it as a doctor. That sounds bad. But, that thing about when they say, like, oh, you have cancer or something, or you have something like that. And a lot of people don't really tell you because they're scared or afraid to tell you. So they just kind of tell you kind of like, small lie, like, oh, this happened instead of this, so that you don't really think about it too much, or it doesn't really crush you, kind of thing. But it had to be more behind it than like, oh, we're just gonna go with something else. Because to me, even if I was the person directing it, if I already liked the people, I wouldn't change the people, even if I'm going to go with something different, like a different segment or something. I would still keep the same people. Yeah, so my thing is, I think that's what they went for. But like I know, like I said, even more recently, I realized that the color of your skin really does affect like getting work and all that stuff. And I mean, I guess maybe I should have known it for a long time, but I didn't look that up for being a model and an entertainer in Korea. But when I came the first time to be a teacher, I mean, I didn't really have. Oh, I did look it up though, but I looked it. I looked it up for being a teacher because my Korean friends told me that it's. There's some that said like people, Korean people love black people, and then there's those that maybe more, I don't know, that would tell me that they don't. But what I've come to find out is just the things that black people produce, like rap music and all that stuff, that is prevalent in Korea and stuff like that, but not probably the actual people. So my Korean friend back home, she was already telling me like it's going to be hard for me here, you know. That's when I was coming to be a teacher, and I did. So she told me to look it up, so I did. I looked up stuff on it because I mean I feel like you should always prepare yourself, no matter who you are, where you're going, what kind of jobs or something you want to do. Like you obviously have to know how it is. Like even if you want to go somewhere to be a doctor, it's going to be different from like in your home country or something like that. You have to look up all these different things and have all this info so that you already know. So why not have that knowledge? So I looked up a lot of different things, and there were so many different things about being a black guy teacher. Because there's two different things. There was race, and then there's sex. So race is already darker skin, already lower, and then being a guy is lower. For teachers, that's because the thing behind Korea's thing about being a teacher is that women are better at nurturing than guys are. So already, if you're choosing between being a man or and a female, a man and a female, what? A male and a female, they'll choose the female over that, and then after that, then it becomes color of skin, so like light to dark, and then yeah. If you really want to know, because I feel like I've said this before, but you can look it up online. There's a lot of different things that people posted about being black in as a teacher in Korea and stuff like that. But I guess this time around, maybe because the company went to work with me, and I mean now I know, but maybe they weren't a good company anyways. So but and they were just throwing stuff my way, like, yeah, we're super good, we work with all these people, we've had one of the best movie productions back in the day or whatever and all that stuff. Like maybe they just like got me hyped for the thing. But like I said, I found everything myself, and I was working with the ladies, and the ladies are nice. The ladies that I work with for dramas is really, really nice. They are so lovely, so lovely. They're not really I want to say they're not really the ones that determine people that go on set. Obviously, like who they choose, the number of light-skinned people to dark-skinned people that they choose. Obviously, that's all the directors and all that on in the casting. There, they choose the models that they want on set. But sometimes they do probably choose like the location of where we sit sometimes too, which can be, you know, pretty troublesome at times to me, at least because I just noticed certain things. But yeah, after that, you know, doing that stuff and realizing that you know that has saddened me because I was already trying to figure out what I want to do. Talking to the lady already, she already said if I want to be a main actor, I can't do it in Korea, and that's because Koreans only want to see Koreans on TV. So if my dream really is to be an actor, she said I would have to go back to the West. Like it's not gonna change in Korea. She didn't even say anytime soon. um, but you know that, you know, obviously already that it's just like, dang, well then like, should I stay here or not? Because then you're already telling me like no matter how hard I try, like I'm never gonna be a main actor. You know, I have actually received something for being a sub. I think I said before, one time, because yeah, I think I said that one time because we talked about the guy from Itaewon class and how I still feel like even though he was a sub, he was like, he was pretty much an extra to me because he just didn't have the time that all the other subs had. He was always gone, apparently, with his grandma, you know. But like even that, so like yeah, they brought that up to me to be a sub for one, and it was pretty much the same. If you want to say like pretty much the same script as the one from Itaewon. Pretty much I am Korean, but because of the color of my skin, people just assume that I'm a foreigner. So like people pick on me and stuff all the time because I am I because of the complexion of my skin, have to be a foreigner. I can't be Korean, even though I'm actually Korean. I was born here and all that stuff. But yeah, I was presented with that. But you know, she said like the likelihood of me being an actor, well, not of me, but of any foreign aspect being um, a main actor is just not going to happen. Koreans want to see Koreans on TV, which I do understand. I guess that what in America, I don't think he's is there any Koreans on TV really. I like, you know, I wouldn't even say like it's a Korea thing too, because I just know all different places rely on race, and then not even that, then it relies on like you've already been, you know, you're already an A-list actor, so then they just go with just using only A-list actors for so many different things that they could probably use other people for, but you know they just, you know, go back to that oh, thank you, Nisi. But I guess they go back to, you know, just like, well, she'll do it. She'll get us the funds we need to make this to greenlight this, you know. So instead of going with somebody else that they could bring in like a new star or whatever, majority of the time they go with people that they know, you know. And I mean, you know, like big names, Scarlett Johansson or, you know, whatever. They just jump on them real quick because they've already sold a lot of different films and stuff, you know. So like I understand the whole game behind being an entertainer and all that stuff, but you know, I was like, when she said that and I thought about it, I was like, well, dang, like there would be no reason to actually stay in Korea because I couldn't achieve my goals. You know, I'm already having trouble because of like skin color and like sex and different aspects, because even that, so like I said, there's probably like three guys she works with, three black guys and like one black girl. The black girl is lucky because she's the only one, so she always gets all the work when it comes to needing a black girl or something, or just needing like the token black person. Oh, brown eyed girl, I haven't seen you in a long time. Hello, thank you. But and is fully working in Korean. Yes, he has some slight things happen to him, but not like a foreigner. That's actually true for Hyungmin. The only thing about him is that he still hasn't gotten anything that's main. He hasn't gotten any main roles, or anything like that yet, and yeah, he still has some things against him. I've heard from different people because of the color of his skin and so forth. But yeah, he doesn't have he hasn't had anything like main happen for him yet. I do know he gets some modeling gigs. But see, even that for me, I also separate modeling from dramas and stuff like that. Models generally, even in Korea. Oh, good night, brown eye girl. Yes, and the modeling world is different because I want it how I see it as this. Models generally are for bigger brands, and bigger brands are usually always abroad. They're something from like America or like Europe or something like that. They're not Korean based. Korean doesn't really. I don't. They don't have. Do they have any big Korean like clothes lines or something in the world? Well, not. If they do, it's not as big as like America or London. Like that's the modeling world and like clotheslines and all that stuff is already owned. It's owned by the West. So that even that when they use models, they usually use like same thing as in what I talked about for Japan. Korea is pretty much the same thing as and I've looked at different sites, but they're always models that their home base is in their home country, and they're on the Korean website site. They're on the Korean website of of different Korean clotheslines and obviously of the already foreign ones like Gap, Adidas, and all that stuff. Um, Good night, brown eyed girl. There are. Oh, phone messed up. Okay. So let me see. Is it continue? Yes. Okay. So they're already on the what? They're already from abroad and all that. So they just come here just to already do their work, for those different brands, and then they go back home. So they already have that set, which is pretty much be the same thing that it was for me in Japan. Pretty much, I would have to go back to America, become get myself into an agency or something there, and then I would just come here to work. So even for modeling and stuff like that, for being a big time model, that's what it is. So they usually already use foreign people for or foreign well not I want to say aspects, but foreign people when it comes to doing different modeling things in Korea. So for me, Hungmin, it'd be easy because they already use foreign looks for modeling over like Korean looks, and then also it's because the brand is from abroad, so maybe they want to go with foreign looks too. Like I don't know. There's so much into that to why modeling would be a lot easier for foreigners, foreign expats compared to like doing dramas and stuff like that. So yeah, he'll get a lot of work in modeling compared to probably like dramas. Um, he is actually Korean. Yeah, he was born here and he only knows Korean. So like in that sense, it would just depend on, I guess, if they'll use him someday for like a drama or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, like I said, I talked to other people about actually wanting to like be a main actor, and they told me that it's just not going to happen for an expat. So that already limits what I can do here. Um, that for that, and then just like having dealing with like the color of your skin and all that stuff. I'm just like dang. So like it'll limit me, and like already because of COVID, I haven't been working too much. Even for like dramas, like I said, there hasn't been too much work too. Or when there is work, they use only certain people because now we used to be able to use like 20 or 30 people a lot of times for 20 or 30 foreign expats, and then 20 and 30 like Koreans or maybe even more Korean people. But at that time, like I said, I worked with one other black guy about 4 times. I worked with the other two black guys 2 times each. But besides that, everybody else was all lighter skin. And I don't say white. The reason why I don't say white is because if you're Spanish or something like that and you have lighter skin, it's still okay because they would pretty much just pass you off as being white. Which actually comes to mind is that I went to set the other day, and then one of the girls there, she said that she, what is it? She had dyed her hair blonde, And I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. And then she said, yeah, because she's trying to get more roles. And I'm just like, she's like, yeah, because, having blonde hair gets you roles. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But, she's from Mexico, if I'm correct. Yeah, lighter skin and all that, but she dyed her hair blonde because she said that it'll help her get her more roles. And I'm like, oh, okay. But like even that, it's just trying to play the game to get jobs and stuff. I'm like, obviously that's not gonna work for me. And stuff like that. But like, yeah, I've been coming to a realization of different things while working here, and I'm just like I don't trying to figure out if I would be able to make it work here or not, because I I think since moving abroad, living in Japan, living in Korea, I've always been majority of the time make what like a steady lifestyle, as in like the how much money I make and all that stuff. And even right now, like I'm thinking about it, like COVID's here, and I don't think that's going anywhere. uh, and I'm getting less work than before. And oh, I forgot, like, because I was talking about the 30 people. It used to be about 30 people, and now on set you can only have about, they say 5 people, but recently we've been using 6, so I think that may be illegal. I don't know. But yeah, because of that, and already knowing that I'll get less work than other light skinned people, I'm just like, dang, well then, like, oh, I'm not gonna even be making money. And I haven't been working. Like, I've been off. I worked 2 times this past week recently. I was actually happy for that. But before that, I think I had about a month off of no work. And to me, that's kind of scary. The one thing my mom told me is like, make sure you have enough money to like survive. Because you're abroad, you don't have family or something to rely on. So like, if I run out of money, like what would I do? You know, I don't have any Korean family or anything like that. I don't have anybody that take care of me in Korea. I only have that back home. If I'm back home and I live by myself or something, if I'm not making enough money or something, I can just like move back home, like home, but I mean, I could do that here too. Yeah, you move back home. But like saying like as in I have an actual home. Dang, that just, I need to stop that. In Korea, I don't. So like, if anything happens, like if I run out of money, like the only thing I can do is to go back to America, and that's actually kind of scary for me because I don't want to just rely on my savings, which is obviously going down, because I'm not working. I don't want to just rely on my savings to like progress in life. The life that I have, so many dreams and so many things that I want to accomplish, and obviously being an entertainer is one of them. But then there's learning 7 languages. I don't even know why that's one. I don't even know why I came up with 7, but 7. I want to learn 7 languages. I want to be comfortable in the place that I'm living. So for me, I could have stayed in Japan, I could have stayed in Korea, but I want to be comfortable. I want to establish a community, which I was talking to this other guy about, because there's another guy that we were talking about how long would you stay in Korea, and he was like, nah, him and his wife is Korean, but he said they're going to leave probably in a few years because his wife doesn't want to stay in Korea for kids. That's another different thing if you know about being mixed in Korea. So his wife, she doesn't want to. She's like, no, it's going to be hard for the kids. So they want to eventually leave. And I had another friend that's actually leaving soon too because of that. They want to have kids and they think that it won't work in Korea. So they're leaving too. But we were talking about that, and from there I was just like, I don't know if I could really make it work for a long time if I can't even do like my dreams or whatever. And like he said, he wanted to have a community, and he hasn't built up that community because foreign expats always leave. Like they're here for a certain amount of time and then they leave because it's not going how they expected it to go or something like that. So like the influx and like deflux of people coming in, it's just like, all over the place, that he meets so many people, but he can't even establish a relationship with anybody because everybody keeps leaving. Nobody stay. and he's here because he has a wife, so he's not going to leave. But they said, well, she wants to leave too. She once they have kids, are going to have kids, so they will leave eventually. But he said the one thing he's had trouble with, and the one thing he wanted in Korea, was a community of people he could talk to, because his wife is Korean, so it's easier for her because she's been here all her life. So of course she has friends or a community, obviously family and all that stuff. But when you're a foreign expat and you marry into a family, you still have like that divide. What I've heard from people that have been married, there's still a division. Like, you're acknowledged as the husband or wife of that person, but at the same time, you still feel like an outsider. And then at a lot of times you still don't have your own community to fall back on, because for me, for relationships, no matter where you are in the world, I feel like you still need your friends, and then maybe your family, and then your lover or whatever. You need all those balances so that you have something or somebody to go to when you need to talk to them. Just having just your lover, or just having just your family or whatever, to me, it you just become so based on them that just their ideals is what you're using a lot of times. But I think you need to have like different people you can go to, family, friends, your lover, all that stuff, you know. But for a lot of expats, it's hard for them to develop that community, and that's one that I wanted. Like, I can live anywhere, but I want to be able to have a community that I can go out and do stuff with. And I was used to that back home. I was always doing something. My God. I feel like I've never had a weekend where I wasn't. I love movies. Love going to the movies. So friends, we always go to the movies, or out to dinner, or dinner and movies, bowling, karaoke, Koreatown, all that stuff. Like, there's always something I was doing. Even sometimes like bars or clubs. I don't drink, but I love dancing. There was always something we were doing. But since moving abroad, not just in Korea, in Japan too, it was always trying to find that community. Always. And I tried. If you, especially depending on if you've been following me for a long time, I've been trying to find that community in both places for a long time. It's just been very, very, very difficult. Same like him. People come and go. When I was living in Japan I think Japan is the longest time I've stayed overseas in a place, because I think I stayed there for consecutive 2 years. I lived in Japan for like 3.5 years, but I think the longest I was actually there was 2 years. And then Korea, I think I've been here like 3.5 years too. And the longest I've been here was 2 years. 2 years. Yeah. So it's been very difficult, and that's part of the dream too, to have somebody that I can rely on and talk to and have fun with during those times. And obviously, like if Charlotte was here, that'd be a total different story. Like, or if I was in Japan with Charlotte, obviously, because that's the one person that I met while being abroad that, like, man, we've been friends for like 10 years. Yes. It's just, it's been going for like 10 years. Like, the one person abroad that I, like, hands down can rely on for anything. Yes. Yeah. If I had more, well, I don't need more of those, I guess. But if I had that in Korea, at least, I think it'd make it easier for me to want to stay and do those things. And then if I had that in Japan when I was back there, but anywhere that you go, like, even if I moved to like London or something like that, to me, you still need those kind of communities to keep you sane or whatever, or just to have around, to have fun, to enjoy your life, but yeah, that's one of them. And yeah, so no, it'd be hard to. I've been following. Oh well, it'd be easy to read it here. I've been following Greg for a while, trying to work out whether he's the world's most resilient person or a huge sucker. Every sure he was the same. He's always been done wrong by somebody. Oh my God. I won't even say just me. I think I'm just probably the only one that talks about it. And I won't say done wrong by everyone. Like I said, the ladies that I work with, especially for doing the dramas here, they're actually pretty nice. They don't decide the people or whatever. the company, on the other hand, is different. They only care about making money. Um, and yeah, going into that, like, going past that, into the things that have been happening recently. So me and my, what is it? Me and my company have been talking about different things or whatever, or ex company, because I don't work for them no more. Um, and they were, like, it was a lot of like things that like seem like odd about it, like, I mean, as you heard in the beginning anyway. But like, going on, like, they never asked me to do any kind of dance type of thing, so it's like, okay, then maybe I can still do the modeling thing. Maybe like the CEO told her like he should just be doing modeling thing. And I've been trying to find like, what things to do or something, but like I said, it's been hard for that. So the only thing I've been doing is just drama stuff here and there. um, but then recently, like, I guess, what is it, her son, her son came into the company or whatever. And then he started, like, I don't know, he came like aggressively. Like, the one thing I've noticed is how people talk to women here. And I've seen him like yell at them a few times, because in our company is majority more girls than there is guys. And in the like dance like chat, there was all girls. I think I was the only guy in there, because she's the only guy that, I guess, yeah, pretty much suckered into doing that. Or whatever. But then, like I said, she never really asked me to join or anything. And then she would put me in different chats, like for like being a YouTuber and all that stuff, because of my YouTube channel and stuff like that. And I thought that, oh, like, maybe she signed me up for that, but maybe they changed, so I was happy about that. But like, then her son was trying to ask me about the dance thing, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because he said like I don't read the chats and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I read the chats, but like, nothing has. She's never personally asked me to come. I've met her a few times on different occasions. She's never asked me to do any of the dance things. One time I met her, and then she was like, oh, you can't dance. So I was like, well, then, like, why would you ask? If you think I can't dance, why would you even ask me to do the dance, flash mob, or whatever you want to do? Like, it makes no sense. But I was cool, because it's like, honestly, I just want to do the modeling stuff anyway, you know. But yeah, from there he was like sending me a lot of stuff, and then I got tired, and I just like cut them off. And then I talked to immigration about it. But with this company, oh god, it's been a lot of things going on that, my other people that I know went through. Dang. Yeah. I don't want to say all that, I guess, but yeah, that I've heard. And then I don't think I'm more just talk about me, because yeah, more to talk about me. But I kind of cut them off. I was like, no, I don't really want to deal with you, with all that stuff. And then, yeah, I heard a lot of things that have to do with like, there were like police reports filed on the company and all that. And different newspapers writing about the company and all that. And I talked to immigration about it, and the one thing they said, is like to go and talk to the company. But the only thing about talking to the company, I was like, but one of my friends talked to the company. And instead of like, what is it? Instead of wanting to talk to her, they just cancel their visa. So I'm like, but then if I go talk to them, apparently they just cancel your visa. So like, I didn't understand the difference. I don't understand the point of me going to talk to the company if they're just gonna cancel my visa. You know, if I talk to them about trying to find a different company, because that's what immigration told me to do. They said just find a different company. But if I'm going to have my visa canceled because they don't want to give me a release letter to go to a different company, like, what do you do? And she said, well, I don't know. And I'm just like, well, I don't know either, you know. So at that point, I was like, well, I guess eventually they're gonna cancel my visa. So like, what's the point? And she's like, well, yeah, I guess so. And I'm just like, okay, well then, I'll just stop talking to them then, because I don't want to have to deal with talking to them about them going to cancel my visa eventually anyway. So I haven't been just I've been here for the past month, and then recently I had to go to immigration because yeah, like I said, they canceled my visa. And then when I got to immigration, I talked to her about it, and I was like, the only thing I really want to talk to you about, honestly, is like if you can try to find a way to like help out other people that come, because obviously the company still looks for other people, uh, obviously. And the one thing I've learned is that there's a whole thing about paying for the visa, which I told her, I was like, I was kind of confused because I'm like, if I paid for my visa, how does a company easily just be able to cancel your visa without wanting to really talk to you or get behind or talk to you about everything that's going on? Like I said, like my friend, they just canceled her visa or whatever, and she said, well, like immigration doesn't deal with that. And I'm like, but like you, but if immigration is the one that cancels your visa, shouldn't immigration be dealing with that because you're the one that cancels the visa? And then she's like, no, that's like the labor department. But apparently my friend talked to the labor department and they said they don't deal with that either. So like nobody's dealing with anything apparently. um I'm like, wow, that's kind of like ridiculous. So like nobody's doing anything then. So like pretty much what I realized going to immigration is that no, like I don't know, I don't even know how bad it is in America, because I mean I'm not an immigrant in America or in the West, so I don't really know how bad it is. Maybe it's just as corrupt or something. But like even here, you know, I told her like, oh, you know, I paid for the visa, and she said, well, I didn't. She didn't really understand English, I'm guessing, but she kept wanting to talk to me in English. But she told me that I did a bad thing and my company did a bad thing. And I'm like, how did I do a bad thing? She said, because I paid for the visa. I'm like, but like, if the company tells you you have to pay for a visa, aren't you supposed to pay for the visa? Like, you know, so she was told me that it's illegal to pay for the visa. But I'm like, why wouldn't immigration tell you this in the beginning? She's like, if you told me in the beginning that you paid for your visa, then we wouldn't have given you the visa. But I'm like, but like how would I know? How, like in what aspect would I know that paying for a visa is illegal if nobody ever tells me that paying for a visa is illegal? You have the company telling you you have to pay for a visa, and then I come to immigration to get the visa, and then you say, oh, do you have this from the company? I give you that, and then you give me the visa. If nobody ever told me that paying for the visa is illegal, how would I even know? You know, and the funny thing is, even online, I never saw anything about paying for the visa being illegal. Because if not, I wouldn't have come in the first place, you know? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, because then I felt like, well, then, like, is everybody talking to each other about this? Because, like, then it kind of made it seem like the only way to make the foreign expat feel like he did or they did something wrong is because you already got them to pay for the visa. So they can't, you can't what do like you can't sue anybody because you agreed to paying for a visa that was illegal to begin with. But like if nobody tells you that it's illegal, how do you know that it's illegal? Like I was man, I was so shocked when I went to immigration. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, so I paid for something I wasn't supposed to pay for. And then that shocked me because I was going to change companies. But like I said, no, I didn't go into this. But the one thing that's different from about Japan and Korea is every time you change your visa, you have to leave the country. Every time you change your visa, the only way is if you're going to be a student. Apparently, if I want to switch to being a student, I can stay in Korea. But if you want to switch your working visa or change your working visa without getting a release letter from your company, you have to actually leave Korea and come back. Like it's a whole process. Um, so I would have to leave and come back, and I was already planning on going back home anyway during this time. I was like, oh, why? I plan to go back because I've been not going home for a long time, and I went back recently last year, and I was like, I'm gonna try to make going back home like a more regular thing, every once in a while instead of every 3-4 years. Honestly, it's also because like I'm like, what if something happens to my mom or something? If I'm abroad and I'm working, I think it'd probably be difficult, especially now with COVID and stuff. If stuff happens to your family, you can't even go see them. There's a lot of people that I know were trapped in Japan that want to go back home to see their family or something when people died and stuff like that, and they weren't allowed to because they couldn't come back in. So then it's like they had to choose between like their husband and wife or whatever, and like their dying relative or whatever, you know. So I really wanted to make that more of a thing where I did that more often. So I was already planning to go back home. So I was like, okay, well then I'll just go back home and then change the company. But then when she said like it's illegal to pay for the visa, then like I felt a kind of way about it, because then I'm like, but then this company asked me to pay too. So then like the only way for this to work is if I found a company that didn't because charge you for your visa, because now I feel like, to me, that any company that charges you for your visa is just using that money. Because when I did it, they told me that the money is used for like illegal fees. I mean, illegal fees. Oh God, for legal fees. For like the lawyers and stuff like that, and what else for lawyers? And she said for like then she did say for like the building. So I'm guessing like bills for the building and stuff like that. Which I don't know. That kind of sound iffy too. Like I don't understand why the money would go to anything but like the visa. Like if the visa costs money, why would money go anywhere else that doesn't pertain to the visa? You know, but I think a lot of other people, I think they just want to be in Korea, that it doesn't bother them, but it bothers me. So like I guess a lot of other people will do it, but like I'm like, nah. I was like, I can't be doing this. So then I will be leaving. I'm going to leave soon, actually. I'll be leaving Korea soon. I realized that I can't really live out my dreams here, so there's no point in staying anyway. And then I don't want to. The only way that I would stay in Korea is if I found a company that, you know, didn't charge you for being, for your visa or whatever, because I think that's a whole kind of like scam where people are just using that for just money for themselves. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to just go back. So I'll be leaving soon, actually. And then I'm going to start just doing my thing but back home. So from there I'm going to, well, when it gets better in America, I'm going to start acting and doing entertainment back in America, and then from there I'm going to see what I'm going to do next, but that's the plan for right now. But yeah, I'm like, oh, it's been, I don't know, it's been a rough ride living in Asia the past few years, for a long time. It's just so much that I learned about being an expat, and then just about myself too, because I don't know, there's a lot of racism things, racist things that happen in America, but I guess I never what encountered it while I was there, so I learned more about it being abroad than I did actually in America, because during that time I never actually encountered it while I was in America. 32. I never encountered it while I was in America. So like maybe that not encountering it made it easy for me, because I don't know, I've always had different friends, different color skin, different background, all that. So I never had to deal with anything like that. And then then you go to a homogeneous society, and everybody just feels like, whoa, like I've never had this before, kind of thing. Like it's been totally different. Like just about learning about myself being abroad that I didn't experience or know about while I was in America. And let's see, I look right here into your teaching. Yeah. Well, yeah, make sure that I saw you in a very recent Korean drama. You was wearing a backpack, I believe, and as a tourist. Yep. Make sure the entertainment company is legit. Some of them may be just ripping you off. I remember hearing something like that. Yes, Kim Jong-un, you are right. You are right. But I wish I knew about that. Man, nobody posted about that. Man, if somebody posted about the that part, then I would have known. But I think when I looked up online about entertainment, nobody actually posted about that being illegal. And I think maybe it's just because a lot of people want to find their way here because, you know, they like K dramas and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe they don't really care or they don't, I don't know. I've never seen anybody actually say anything about it. Maybe I don't even know too many YouTubers that even do modeling or entertainment work here, but yeah, I don't know why. I just never saw it, or I would have probably had second thoughts about coming here from the beginning to do entertainment work. Because then, like I said, it just makes it seem like the only way for me to actually get something good, still, even in Korea or Japan, even if it is good, because I've heard things about that too, is for me to go back to America, find a company, and then want to do international work in like Korea or Japan. Like that's the only way that it would actually work out in my favor or in any expat's favor. It seems like, but I don't. There's not too many for expats in Korea. There's only like what those that are probably like military, those that are trying to do entertainment work, which is not too many. Like I said, even in my thing, I'm from America at least. I was like the only American person that I know. There's some like British people. There's some French people. A lot of French people actually, and a lot of like Russian people. But yeah, it's pretty limited on people from America at least. And I want to say probably the UK too, because I there's a few people from UK I meet, but not too many. Yeah, black culture, not black people. Wow, the sex of men. Oh, there's this. Yeah. About it, I remember hearing that I have Korean. Oh yeah, I mean, we talked about that. So obviously, okay. Mm-hmm. Brown and girl. Hey, about to. Yeah, talked about that too. Mm-hmm. The only person that I see foreign wise that gets recurring roles, but not even a main role, is Carson. But she is, you know, Caucasian. Yeah, yeah, she gets a lot of but even that's still extra roles. It's not like main roles. I've seen her a few times actually, um, as doing extra work. But like it's still like a there's a big difference between being an extra and like a sub or a main. Um, there's like extra, there's a sub, there's a main, and there's a guest. I was talking to my friend about this the other day because she was like what on set we were talking about this, but like extra, you know, you're used for a lot of different things. Here you can actually say lines and still be an extra. In America you can't. If you say lines, they have to add you to the credits. It's very what there's so many different laws in America about doing things, so you have to actually abide by these laws. Because I mean, maybe you don't want to get sued or anything like that, but if you say any line in anything, they have to put you into the credits. um you can be an extra and say a line, maybe like one line or something, but they have to put you into the credits, so generally you don't say anything. Maybe like the crowd when they go like woohoo or like some kind of thing like that. That's just what for like sound effects. It's not a specific line. So those you can do, you know, but specific lines you have to actually get paid for it or you have to be credited for it or something like that. And that's usually for an extra. Then they have subs. You know, you see a lot more. Um, and they're recurring, but then you have the main that you probably see throughout the whole drama or the whole film, you know, and the subs are probably like their family members or friends, you know, the close friends, not the far off friends. Those are probably still extras. And then you have a guest, and a guest is like somebody that's obviously they probably have a big name behind them already or something like that, and they'll probably be reoccurring or even just a once off, but they already have a name behind them. They're not just a regular person that you would use as an extra. So And most likely they probably have lines too. So yeah, we were talking about that the other day. Um, I think it's people. I think he says the best people. I try, but I try, Kitty, but that's becoming pretty hard these days. I agree. He's always optimistic, but he's always the common denominator in all the stories of war. I'm starting to think he's just making bad decisions. Sorry, I might need to stick with this pretty fast. And then, do you have any form of acting or dance training? No, I don't have any form of acting or dance training, actually. I just had stuff that I'd done in college, but it's not like formal. Making my decision is not the what someone sets out to do. I think it's just life and the obstacles thrown his way, and him trying to do the best he can do with situations he's in. Yeah, Kitty, I wouldn't worry about Jane too much. I think she's also said something before, and still been here like some other time. But no, obviously I don't. Yeah, for her it's different. Me, I'm obviously trying to do what I want to do, and that's my dreams. I mean, a lot of people do set out to do a lot of different things, and bad things happen to them. Depends on who they can talk to about it or what. The only reason why I talk to everybody about different things is just because I feel like it'd be helpful for somebody who's trying to do different things. Like if you want to come to Japan or Korea to do entertainment work or what is it, teaching or something like that. I try to give my aspect of it, but like still all the same. I don't tell anybody not to come to these places. Obviously, I feel like everybody has their own journey. I feel like everybody has their own journey in life. So I wouldn't tell anybody not to do these things. I feel like you should still go out and do everything that you want to do because it's still your life and everybody lives life differently or has different things that they do in their life. So like let's change this a little bit. Yeah, so I think everybody has, they have their own life, and just because I went through bad experiences, that doesn't mean that you would too. Um, I think it's just for a learning experience for a lot of other people, but like honestly, it's the same. It's either you can listen to it or you don't have to listen to it. I don't ask anybody to listen to me, really. Um, but at the same time, I just try to give what happened so that people can understand what happened, and then maybe you can decide what you want to do. But no, I would still tell you to come and do it yourself because I feel like everybody has their dream, right? If you have your dream to come to Korea, if you have your dream to go to Japan, if you have your dream to go to China, there's a lot of different things to if you have your dream to go to London. I mean, anybody can read up stuff on the place and you'll know if it's the right suit for you or not, and then you have sometimes very little people that do want to talk about it. They'll probably talk to their friends about it or whatever. I do have a YouTube channel, so I talk to it about everything. When it's good, I talk to you about it. When it's bad, I talk to you about it. There's no difference. I don't choose to talk about bad things. That's ridiculous. I talk about anything that's happening to me. Obviously, my channel is about my life. It's not about anything specific. So if you don't want to know about my life, I mean, then why would you be following? But yeah, I would still never tell anybody not to come to Korea or Japan because, like I said, everybody has their own life, and it may be totally different. My cousin still wants to come to Korea. She knows that that there's bad things that happen, and she didn't even know that from me. She knew that, I mean, because we don't even talk about it. We only talk about the good things because she loves K dramas and stuff like that. So she's always talking to me about it, and she's like, "Oh, you're in that drama with what's his name? I love him," and I'm just like, "Oh, okay." She was like, "Did you talk to him?" I was like, "Yeah," but I mean, oh, and I'm like, "Oh, okay," but like she learned all that stuff just doing her own research online, and she knows that. But I mean, she still loves it. I've met tons of people that love it, but maybe didn't like Korean people or something like that because it's hard being a foreigner abroad in different places. I mean, it. I don't know. It's, but still at the same time, I wouldn't tell anybody not to come. Totally wouldn't. It's your life. You have to live it for yourself. The only thing that other people can do is they can give you feedback on how they did the things that they did, and obviously you can learn from that. Like, oh, well then maybe I should really think about, you know, companies that, like, if I want to model, then maybe I should try to find companies that don't charge you or something like that, because obviously, as immigration said, it's illegal. So then if you learned that from me and from watching me, then, and you want to come be a model in Korea or something, then you would know that you probably wouldn't want to do that, you know. That's the only thing I can do. But like I said, I would never tell anybody not to come to these places. Everybody has their own life. You do what you want to do with your life. But yes, exactly, Kitty. Making bad decisions is not what someone says to do. Like, yes, I want to get hit by a car today. Let me go do that. That's ridiculous. All Greg can do and should do is keep on trying, learning, and living the life he wants with a beautiful smile on his face. Thank you, Kitty. You're the best. You look like you're 23. Honestly, that's all the roles I play. I always play roles where I'm in like college or something. And since being abroad, everybody always tells me how young I am. I'm always confused for like a high school, college student, majority of times. Um, yeah, my kids always used to tell me that, like, why are you teaching? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, aren't you like 18 or something? I'm like, no. Like, what? You can't even be 18 to be a teacher. What are you saying? um, yeah. Sorry that things didn't work out the way you would have liked, but I feel like you'll be much happier once you're back home or when for you fighting. Thank you, Kitty. Kenny Chan. I am. I don't know. I'm excited because I guess it's been a long time since I've been home, but I'm excited. Mostly because I still want to try to make my dreams work. That's like the biggest part. Like I said, it still doesn't matter where I am in the world. I just want to be able to make my dreams come true. I have so many, and that's it. As long as I can find that, I'm happy. I'll be happy anywhere. And as long as I have the community that I want, you know, I'll be happy. But but yeah. I just want to, as long as I have all that and everything's going how I hope that it'll go. Um, okay. I'm sorry, I just got another message. I'm getting a lot of messages. Yeah, but as long as things work out better, I'd be happy. The total opposite of what Jane was saying. Actually, I don't. I actually want to just have everything go correctly. Um, that'd be a lot better for me, because then I feel like that I would have established what I wanted to. Um, but yeah, that's the only thing I hope for. I've been hoping for a long time, since college actually. I hope that you'll be able to live out your dreams in the future. Love you. Hope everything turns out well. Thank you. Did you know a lot of Korean slash Japanese from your travels? Did you know? Wait, I'm sorry. Scott, you said, did you know a lot? Like, did I know a lot about Korea and Japan, or do you mean did did I learn Korean and Japanese? I'm a little confused on your question. Oh, learning language. Korea was a little bit better because they have this whole program where you get to learn Korean for free. I mean, it the one thing it doesn't do is really teach you how to speak. Um, so yeah, that's the biggest problem. But you do get to learn from teachers for free, and it's a way for you to become, what is it, a long-term resident or to become a citizen of Korea. So it has a lot of benefits if you want to live here long-term. It's called the KIIP program. um, it's a program that I did up until level 4. I actually recently took the test, which I'm mad about because during the speaking section I understood what she said, but I was scared that I was going to say the wrong answer, and I didn't say the answer at all, even though I should have. I see, now that came back to my mind. But yeah, it's the KIIP program, and you get to learn. Usually, you learn at school, but because of COVID, we do this everything online. The only thing I had to do, actually had to venture out to do, was a test. I had to go do the test at a college. I would say government. Yeah, colleges are like government facilities, I guess. So at a government facility, that's the only thing you have to do. But I think Korea was better for trying to help you learn Korean. Um, it's still hard because to me, I feel like any language, you have to be talking to it constantly with somebody to get better at it. So if you don't have that, which I'm saying is that community, and usually that'd be a community of the native speakers, it's hard to like keep your language abilities up or even improve them. So there's a lot of people that maybe I know can read or and write maybe, but speaking is just something they really can't do at all. So their biggest issue is always speaking. Japanese, I went to I studied abroad for 1 year. That was actually pretty fun. I studied abroad for 1 year in Japan. So I got lots of speaking and well, learning, because I was in an intense program for 1 year to learn Japanese. So that was pretty different. I did do half what semester? A quarter at Sogang Taekyo, which is Sogang University in Korea. And that helped me actually a lot with speaking. My first quarter, no, I did 2 quarters. What am I talking about? The first quarter helped me a lot with speaking because she was so hands on with it, and that's what Sogang was known for. But the second quarter didn't help me, so that's why I didn't continue. Um, the first quarter she was really good, but the second quarter I was trying to tell my teacher like of things we did in the first quarter, but she said no, that's not what we do. So I'm thinking like my teachers for the first quarter were just out of the box because they were very, very good with trying to give you other things that weren't even in the curriculum, and I love that about them. But then my second teacher, like, it was just so much book based that we only read what was in the book, and that was very, very not so good to me because I feel like I could just do that at home, kind of feeling, and a lot of my other friends felt the same way. So yeah, I learned a lot because I study on the side. There's different websites that you can find to study for free, and then two, the Korean company that I did, I mean company Korean program that I did. Even if it's not speaking related, I did learn a lot culturally because it's more of a cultural class. They're trying to integrate you into the society for that program. So you do learn Korean, but a lot of it is in terms of learning about Korea, like learning about Jeju and what is it? What you can do at Jeju, like how to say that you want to what is it? Sandbathe on a beach, or you want to go swimming and stuff like that. Like, and then about what Seoul Tower, different Korean dishes, how to cook, how to say different ways of cooking in Korean. Like, it's very cultural based. So you learn, but obviously it's in a way that they're teaching you about the culture, so they can integrate you into the society. It's a whole program about trying to make you a citizen, pretty much, or at least a long-term resident. But obviously, after long-term residency becomes citizenship, which you give up your company, your country, and integrate into the Korean society. Some people have done it. For those that wanted to, some people have done it. But yeah, you would have to give up your home country if you want to do that. So that's a thing that you would have to choose if you want to do that or not. Yes, but I think I'm gonna go eat. Finally, I think I'm gonna go eat. I am no problem, Scott. I'm hungry. So yes, go eat. So yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out everything else that I'm gonna do after that. So the plan right now, yes, to head back home and to see. the thing about it is I can always, like I was talking to my friend about it, I can always come back to any place abroad. Like that's not the problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna it's still hard because anywhere you go, especially in the West, is closed down. A lot of places compared to like Korea, which they close down places, but then they open it back up. So I think they don't care about closing it down anymore. Um, but you know, in the West, everything they're really trying to close down everything to keep people from getting sick. So it's a very different aspect of living in Asia during COVID and living in the West during COVID. Um, oh, so hungry. So yeah, I'm gonna try to figure that out. I already did stuff back home, so I already had a friend that gave me stuff about different websites, and there are some stuff still going on. So I'll try to apply for some stuff and see how it goes, and then from there I'll see how my life turns out. But I'm hoping that it gets better, pretty much. I'm hoping that I can still in some way live out my dream of entertainment. But like I said, I have the other one of, you know, I have so many of just learning languages, having a community around me, surrounded by good friends and all that stuff. You know, that I guess even if I can be an entertainer, I do want to continue certain things. Like I still want to do traveling and stuff. So there'll still be vlogs about traveling when traveling happens again, whenever that is. Um, you know, 'cause, oh God, whenever that happens again. And I don't know, and still obviously continuing just like my life and things abroad. But the next time I have a live stream, I think I want to do it question based. So like, if there's anything that people want to know about living abroad, about my experiences abroad, or just, you know, just in general, then I'll probably put something on Instagram about it and all the other SMS sites that I have, so you can ask me different things and then I can just comment on those. And that's probably be the next live stream that I do next time. So yes, I'm going to go eat, so then I will see you guys next time. Thank you those that joined, and thank you for those that have been following me for some time, and I'll see you guys later. Oh. Thanks for showing up.